Recording in progress. So let me share my screen to you. Yeah. First of all, you are requested to please do let me know if both the audio, video, and screen signals are okay. Perfect. That's right. That's good. That's good. So now the next pointer. Now the next pointer. Okay. Yesterday, I was talking to you about the concept of a Spring container. While talking about the concept of a Spring container, we come across some of the interfaces that are very vital. Like if I'm talking about the concept, then one is available bean factory. Second is available listable bean factory. Application context has one interface available, and then the next interface is available called configurable application context interface. Below the configurable application context interface, we are talking about the two classes. The one class that is referred as the class path XML application context, and second is referred as the annotation config application context. There is one common interview question. The interview question is all about what is the difference between the bean factory and the application context. So initially, if I'm talking about the bean factory, then we know it very well that it is the root interface. And whenever I'm talking about a Spring container, then definitely the Spring container is compulsorily going to implement the bean factory interface. If I'm talking about the older version, or if I'm talking about the initial version of the Spring, then in the initial version of the Spring container was implementing the bean factory interface. But nowadays, bean factory is containing very limited feature. That's why no modern Spring container is actually implementing bean factory directly. It is actually implementing sub interfaces of the bean factory interface. If I'm talking about vital methods, then among the vital methods, the method is available get bean method. Apart from the get bean method, get type method is available. And after the get type is prototype is singleton. This is we are going to cover today. Thereafter, the next is available listable bean factory. Into the listable bean factory, actually the facility is that management of object is better than the bean factory, because the objects are actually maintained in the form of list that you can enumerate one by one. Then everyone application context is available. The application context is central interface to provide the configuration for an application, and it is mainly a read-only file. The bean factory method for, you can say that here actually one important method is available that is called get application name. And normally nowadays, whenever we are talking about a Spring container, then a Spring container always implement application context interface. It actually always implements application context interface. Now, if I'm talking about the interface, then definitely in case of interface, just a minute. Yeah, well, coming back. So there is one thing available that is application context interface. After the application context interface, then you can see that one more interface is available, configurable application context interface. It is actually a service provider interface to be implemented by most, if not all, application context. Void close is there, void register shutdown hook is there. Then everyone, we were talking about the class that is called the class path XML application context. And yesterday we were using the class path XML application context heavily for the XML files. Thereafter, everyone, an example of Maven project, and thereafter actually fully qualified class name running an application. Then we were talking about the constructor injection. And apart from the constructor injection, we were talking about the next thing that is called the setter dependence injection. In the dependence injection, we were talking about the constructor injection as well as setter injection. First thing, in case of constructor injection, the properties are actually populated using the constructor. Constructor ARG tag is used to inject the dependencies. It is having the three required attributes. Among the three required attributes, first is available value, second is called ref, and third is called name. This approach of injection is mostly suitable and recommended also, but this approach doesn't work in most cases, means especially in circular dependency. Also, if you have some optional dependency in your code that you wanted to add later as per the demand, then better to go for the setter injection. See, this is one very common question. Which type of injection is better? Constructor injection is better or the setter injection is better? So there is just actually, you can say that a very, very simple question that you should always keep in mind. There is no perfect answer. There is no perfect answer. If I'm talking about the no perfect answer, then first thing first. Why there is no perfect answer? Simple. If let's say that you are having limited number of dependencies, if you are having limited number of dependencies and all the dependencies are compulsory, then definitely in this condition, you can blindly go with the constructor injection. Case number two, if there are cases of circular dependency and some of the dependencies you are having optional. So for the optional dependencies, going for the constructor injection is not a good job because unnecessary you are making the container very heavy. Unnecessary, you are making the container very heavy. And because actually you are making the container very, very heavy, so in such conditions, it is always one of the most recommended thing that you should never go for the constructor injection. Is that clear? Is that clear, everyone? Which type of injection is better? Okay. Now, going to the next part. And while going to the next part, see, one scholar is writing repeat again. Okay, see. Normally, this is a commonly asked question where actually often interviewer are asking that constructor injection is available, setter injection is available. So which injection is better? This is one of the commonly asked question. The thing is that there is no perfect answer. According to the situation, actually you have to decide that which type of injection is better. Getting my point? Like, if I'm talking about the situation number one, the situation number one, when you are having very limited number of dependencies and all the dependencies are compulsory. If dependencies are compulsory, they are very limited in quantity, then definitely better to go for the constructor injection. Second number case, let's say there is case of circular dependency, or let's say that you are having 10 dependencies. Out of the 10 dependencies, only 2 or 3 dependencies are compulsory. Remaining, all the dependencies are optional, means they may be required, they may not be required. In such condition, if you wanted to add dependency later on, then don't you think that it is better to talk about the setter injection, or it is better to go with the setter injection? Yes or no? Yes, it is. So there is no perfect answer. But if somebody still asks you that choose one, then definitely you should go for the constructor injection. If somebody is asking you that choose one, in this condition, you should go for the constructor injection. This is what actually you have to keep into your mind. Is that clear? So this is one question that you always must keep into your mind. Now I'm talking about the remaining things that were pending from the yesterday. So inversion of control, we have done. Spring container, we have done. The bean factory, then the application context, again we have done configuration file, Spring configuration metadata, thereafter types of injection, setter injection, and the constructor injection is something that actually we have done again. Thereafter, we are talking about the circular dependency. After talking about the circular dependency, then actually we are talking about the further parts. Into the further parts, now I'm going to take one more example. And while having the discussion about the one more example, today we are going to discuss about some of the pointers. The points that actually we are going to discuss today. Today it is day number 3. Today it is day number 3. So first of all, today we will discuss about the concept that is called bean auto wiring. Apart from having discussion about the bean auto wiring itself is a big topic. Thereafter, I will talk to you about the next thing. The next thing is actually called the bean life cycle. And into the bean life cycle, I will talk to you about the initialization and the destroy method. I will talk to you about the initialization and the destroy method. And thereafter, I'm going to talk the next thing. And the next thing is going to be, that is what lazy and the eager initialization. Bean scope is the next thing that actually we will discuss. And just a second, bean scope. After the bean scope, we will talk about the eager and lazy initialization. After the eager and lazy initialization, thereafter two types of scopes are there. We will discuss bean life cycle is one thing that actually I will discuss. So bean life cycle I will actually cover here. And one more thing that CYCLE is good to write down. Thereafter, we are talking about the injecting collection type. Injecting collection type is something that actually we are right. So once actually this part is completed, thereafter we will talk about the concept of annotations. So we will talk about using, or you can say that Spring Annotations is something that actually we will discuss. In the annotation, again, there is a long story that we will come across. So let's see what actually we are going to cover today. This is our third class. Okay, no problem. We are on track. Almost we are on track. Okay. First thing, everyone, in the SB 101, when you come across the JDBC in Aspirant 3 and Hibernate in the Aspirant number 4, in both the cases, have you come across layered architecture? There is a presentation layer available. Apart from the presentation service layer available, apart from the service layer, then DAO layer is also available. Whenever you are going to develop an application, then definitely you should always follow the DAO pattern. The advantages of DAO pattern you already know. It actually provide the different layers so that multiple developers can work on the project. And actually, whenever one layer is having some changes, then the second layer is going to have the least affectation. Then the second layer is going to have the least affectation. This is what exactly we are going to have. Then everyone, so bean auto wiring. So first of all, let me create a simple application. And in this application, I will talk about the bean auto wiring. So first of all, I am available on the STS. And on the STS, I'm going to create one more example. Control C, Control V. And this time, this is going to be my example number 6. In the example number 6, I'm going to discuss with you about the DAO pattern. I'm going to discuss to you about the DAO pattern. Project I have copied pasted. You know it very well. Whenever we are copy pasting the project, at the time code is getting copied, file structure is getting copied, but Maven dependencies are not resolved by default. To resolve the Maven dependency, you have to update the project, select the project first, and thereafter press Alt plus 5. When you are pressing Alt and 5 together, thereafter you are talking about the force update and click on the update. Once you have updated, then Maven dependency is resolved now. Is that point clear? Is that point clear? Yes, it is. Okay. Now actually I am in the main, and while going to the main, this time I do not need a.java. I do not need b.java. I'm talking about some more packages. So for example, let's say that while having the discussion about the packages, first package I'm going to discuss with you is going to be the UI package. The first package that actually I'm going to discuss with you is going to be the UI package. After the UI package, thereafter I'm going to have a discussion about the next package, and the next package that I'm writing is going to be the service package. After the service package, thereafter I'm going to have a discussion about the next package, and the next package is going to be the DAO package. So thereafter I'm pressing Control N. After talking about the control N, let's say that I'm talking about some simple class, and let's say that the name of the simple class, for example, let's say I'm writing, let's say that user DAO, just a name I'm giving according to my own choice. Into the user DAO, for example, let's say that I'm having a list, and let's say that into the list, just actually I'm maintaining the name of the users only. And if I'm maintaining the user only, so one list is available. The name of the list that actually I'm calling is the private list of name and user name, or it will be good to say that user's name is what actually I'm writing. Thereafter, let's say that I'm talking about a method. So one of the method that actually I'm having is, for example, let's say it is going to be public, and we are writing here void add method. Into the add method, I'm talking about the string name here. And when I'm writing the string name here, then actually I'm doing a very small job. The small job that I'm doing is, let's say that simple I'm writing here is that username dot add, and into the add I'm adding the name here directly. If you wanted to add the constructor, then definitely you can add here the constructor directly. I'm creating a default constructor, and into the default constructor simple I am writing users equal to new array list is what actually I am writing. After providing this part, after providing this part, all shift X, and after writing all shift X, thereafter I am talking about, let's say that this is going to be the so okay. So first part is done. That is called actually add method. Similar to the add method, for example, let's say that I'm talking about one more method. The name of the method is, let's say, has name method. Into the has name method, then again we are talking about has name. If the name is available, then the answer is going to be true. If the answer is not available, then if the name is not available, then the answer is going to be false. So for example, let's say that username is available to me. Into this username, I am directly converting the same thing to the stream. After converting the same thing to the stream, then I'm talking about the filter method. Into the filter method, then actually I'm writing that if I'm talking about the current element name, then we are writing if name dot, let's say equals, if this is equal to name, it will be good to use the letter and here so that there should be no confusion. Then object is available, then it will be filtered, and once it is filtered, then definitely we have to convert the same thing to the list. And once it is converted into the list, then actually I wanted to get the first element. So first element will be available to me or directly actually to list. After the to list, I am writing about the size. If size is more than 0, then directly I can return true. Okay, just one thing. Is that expression clear, everyone? Is that expression clear? We are having a list. The list is first converted into the stream. On the stream, we are providing the filter method and is going to be the name available in the list. One by one, every name will be taken. If the name is equal to whatever your parameter is, then definitely predicate will actually keep this thing. Remaining elements will be filtered out. If the length of the list is more than 0, then the answer is going to be true. Otherwise, answer is going to be false. Is that expression clear, or shall I write down it simply using conventional approach? Option 1, option 2. The stream is something that you must know. Stream is something that you must know. Okay, that's good. It is clear. Thereafter, everyone, let's say that I'm talking about one more method. The name of the method, for example, let's say, oh, well, keep it as it is, no problem. So first of all, the two methods I have created into the DAO layer. After going to the DAO layer, if you wanted to create the interfaces, then definitely you can create the interfaces also. So for example, let's say that I'm talking about the interface, and name of the interface that actually I'm writing is going to be user DAO is the name of the interface. If I wanted to keep user DAO the name of the interface, then definitely the name of the implementing class is going to be user DAO IMPL class. So initially I wanted to create an interface. The name of the interface is going to be, that is called the user DAO interface. And into the user DAO interface, first thing I wanted to keep all the syntaxes. To keep all the syntaxes, so first actually the method I have added here. Then everyone, second method is something that actually I have added here. Just a minute. Second method I have added here. Two methods I have added here. This is an interface, and I'm talking about the public class user DAO IMPL. Then definitely this class actually implements the user DAO interface. This class actually implements the user DAO interface. So after doing that part, after doing that part, so user DAO is available, user DAO IMPL is available. We have done some analysis. After doing some analysis, then you can see user layer, or you can say that DAO layer is right now completed. DAO layer is right now completed. If I wanted to create an object of the DAO layer, then for creating the object of the DAO layer, I have to go to the SRC. Into the SRC, I have to go to the file, and after actually going to the file, then actually first thing I need to do is, everyone, in this case, you can see it very well that because there is a default constructor available. So in case of the default constructor, there is no need of constructor parameter. So we are writing here bean ID. Into the bean ID, we are writing here user DAO. If I'm talking about the name of the interface for which object we wanted to create. So just actually copy this part. After copying this part, then I'm writing this one. Just a minute. Yeah, copy this part. Then I'm writing this one. And I wanted to create an object of the class such that the name of the object, name of the class is going to be user DAO IMPL. The name of the class is going to be user DAO IMPL. Now listen, actually one thing that I wanted to tell you. Here you can see that I'm creating the object manually. Answer is yes. Here you can see that practically we are creating the object manually. Answer is yes. So initially I'm going to do just one simple job. In the simple job, for example, let's say I'm available in constructor, and into the constructor I am writing here that system.out.println. In the system.out.println, we are writing here, this is called constructor. User now IMPL : constructor is something that actually we are writing. So let me come to the file. The name of the file is app.java. Into the app.java application.xml is there. If everything is okay, in such condition, can I expect the output that is user.dao impl colon constructor? Yes, it is. So let me try to run this example. Alt Shift X J. So object is getting created successfully. Yes or no? Yes, it is. Right now, actually, you might see that, sir, what is the logic of this interface is. There is no logic of creating the interface. Seems reasonable. Yes, there is no logic of creating the interface. Let's say here instead, if I'm talking about the user DAO, so I have actually changed the configuration metadata. After changing the configuration data, I am going to app.java and thereafter I am hitting. And after hitting, can you see that it is actually showing that error creating bean with name user DAO defined in class path resource failed to instantiate specified classes interface. So by looking at this thing, don't you think that it looks like we cannot instantiate interface, or it is not able to identify the implementing classes? Isn't it looking like that it is not able to identify the implementing classes? Yes or no? Yes. Right now it is not able to identify. Let it be as it is. So once actually I have created the object of the implementing classes. Created object of the implementing classes. Okay, so object of the implementing classes is actually getting created here. Now going to the next portion. Now going to the next portion. I'm available on the next layer, and definitely the next layer is actually referred as the service layer. And if I'm talking about the service layer, pressing Control N, I'm talking about the interface. The name of the interface is, let's say I'm writing is the user service interface. Into the user service interface, I'm talking about one service. The service is going to be, let's say it is public void, and we are talking about the add user. In the add user, for example, I'm talking about the string name. Thereafter, again, we are talking about the next thing, that public boolean has user. Into the has user, again, we are passing the string name. So first, initially, this user service is actually getting created here. Pressing Control and going to create the class. The name of the class I am writing is user service impl, and this class implements the interface. The name of the interface is going to be user service interface. After talking about the user service interface, we are clicking on the finish, and everyone this time, definitely I need services of DAO class here. Yes or no? I need services of DAO class here. And because I need services of DAO class here, so isn't it better that I can create here public, and I'm writing here that is the user DAO, and into the user DAO, for example, let's say I'm writing here user DAO. One variable is available. Using that variable directly, actually I can call the methods from here. This is very common structure. This is very common structure. Same thing we can write down here in this manner. Yes or no? Simple service layer I am using. Okay. Now if I wanted to create the object of the service layer, then to create the object of the service layer, you can see that there is one field available. For this field, either I have to create the constructor or I have to create the setter getter method. Yes or no? So let me initially take the example of the constructor. So I am generating the constructor using the field. When I'm generating the constructor using the field, then you can see that it is generated here. I'm going to application.xml file, and while talking about the XML file implementing class, or actually you can call it DAO class. Now I'm going to create object of service class. I'm creating object of the service class. When I'm creating the object of the service class, then in this condition, the thing that actually we are going to write down here is the thing that actually we are going to write down here is I have to create object with the name user service. After creating with the name user service, then definitely the name of the class that I wanted to write down is going to be user service IMPL class. And after even talking about the user service IMPL class, there is bean tag available. Within the bean tag, because I'm talking about the constructor injection, so for the constructor injection, can I use constructor arg tag? Yes. Into the constructor arg tag, because I wanted to define an object. So to define an object, I have to use ref. Remember? I have to use ref, remember? And after writing the ref here, actually, I have to provide that reference. Now this time, in the constructor of the user service IMPL, I'm using the reference variable of interface, or I'm using reference variable of implementing class. Option 1 or option 2? Am I creating reference variable of interface, option number 1, or am I create reference variable of implementing class? The user DAO is an interface. So I'm creating actually a reference variable of the interface, not implementing class. Okay. I'm creating reference variable of an interface, not implementing class. And actually you can see one thing, that at the time of injecting, or at the time of constructor injection, for the constructor ARG, I am writing here user DAO. The user DAO is an object of user DAO IMPL. So simple principle. Can a reference variable of interface belong to point to the object of implementing class? Can a reference variable of the interface point to the object of implementing class? Answer is yes. It can, no problem. So according to this principle, if actually I am providing user DAO, so practically I am providing the object of a class that implements user DAO interface. So definitely this dependency should 100% work. Make sense? Yes, it is. So right now, actually, I'm available into the user service. Let's say that I'm available in the user service IMPL. In the user service IMPL, again, I'm writing a message that the message is going to be here. I'm writing user service IMPL, and into the user service IMPL, then I'm writing here one thing that is called constructor. Is that clear? Then one more time, let us try. And one more time when we are going to try, so there is an exception available. Let's say that what is the problem available? Capital U in the class name. Let me check. One scholar has spotted the error. Yeah, this class is not available. Thanks for the correction. Alt Shift X J. Again problem. So just a minute. It says that cannot find the class. The name of the class being with user service defined in class path resource. Cannot find class for the bean name user service defined in the class path resource. Just a second. Actually, let me check what I have done. Going to application, and while going to the application, this package name seems incorrect. Copy. Going to application name, and it is com.masaischool. This one. And if I'm talking about the user DAO IMPL class, into the user DAO IMPL class, package name is, I think, a complete fully qualified name it is. So fully qualified name I'm providing com.masaischool. Here also fully qualified name I have to provide, and the fully qualified name is going to be, yeah, com.masaischool.b28 sb201 example 6 service. B28 sb201 example 6 service. It looks okay, nice this time. So fully qualified name I have provided. Class name is user service IMPL, U capital, S capital, I capital. Alt Shift X J. Just a minute. Actually, I'm going to app.java. Alt Shift X J. This time working. This time working. So simple thing, everyone. If we are providing the object of the implementing class using the bean configuration metadata, then actually it doesn't make any difference. The rule of core Java are 100% same. Yes or no? The rules related to core Java, they are 100% same. Is that clear? Okay. Similarly, let's say that finally, if I'm talking about the service layer is available, from the service layer, we can talk about the presentation layer. At the presentation layer, what exactly we have to do? At the presentation layer, nothing special we want. Just actually one thing we have to do is we need to use the object of the service class. If I wanted to use the object of the service class, so one simple question. This time, can I say that object of the service class will be directly available in the context? This time, can I say one thing, that object of the service class will be directly available in the context? Yes, it will be available. So let me do this job. For example, let's say I am writing that get the object of user service IMPL. So to get the object of the user service IMPL, we have to call the getBean method. Into the getBean method, first we have to specify the name. After specify the name, then we have to provide the name of the implementing class. So if I'm talking about the name of the bean, then definitely the name of the bean initially is going to be the user service. And if I'm talking about the name of the class, the name of the class is going to be user service IMPL dot class. Name of the class is going to be user service IMPL class, and definitely I can assign the same thing directly to the user service bean. Yes, I can assign the same to the user service. So get the object of the user service IMPL class. Thereafter, everyone, once the object of user service IMPL class is available to me, then using this object, can I call the add method? For example, let's say that I am adding the one user. The first user that I'm writing is ABC. The second user that I'm writing is going to be the BCD. The third user that actually I'm going to write down is going to be the CDE. So three users, let's say that I have added. Once actually the three users are added here, thereafter we are going to add one more thing. Let's say that I wanted to find out. So just actually I'm calling the method that is the has user. Into the has user, let's say that we are searching for the first user. The name of the first user that I'm writing is ABC. So system.out.println, we are writing that user ABC available. So if I'm talking about the user ABC available, so this is one thing that is actually available. Then we are talking about the user into the user if the user XYZ is available. Then in case of user XYZ available, we have to write down this one. So let us try what is the output here. Well, so can you see this is an example that I have created like normally we used to create. If you wanted to create a separate DAO layer, a separate UI layer, then you can create the separate UI layer also. So nothing special. Constructor injection I have used. This example is clear. How to create your application in the form of DAO pattern. Is that okay? How to create your application in the form of DAO pattern? So simple. An example we have taken, and here actually we are using the interfaces also. Now everyone, actually the first part is something that we have done. Presentation layer is there, service layer is there, everything is there. And in this example, please take a look at the application.xml file. In the application.xml file, initially what I did, I created an object of the interface. Okay. After creating the object of the interface to the service layer object, or while creating the object of the service layer, I'm providing that object manually. Yes or no? To the service layer, I'm providing the object of DAO layer manually by writing the code in the configuration metadata. Yes or no? Yes, it is. And if this is the case, if this is the case, then can you see that, sir, this type of practice is what we can call manual wiring. This type of practice is called manual wiring. Why we are calling manual wiring? Because everything we are writing at our own level. We are defining or we are telling the Spring container that you should do this, you should do that. Everything we are telling to the Spring container. This time, definitely the advantage is that we do not have to make changes in the code. Just actually we have to make changes in the XML we have done. The internal process or complete business logic is written in Java. If I'm talking about the process of creating the relevant object and injecting them, this is what we are writing into the XML. So it is actually offering us definitely a loose coupling system or a loosely coupled system. But this time, if I'm talking about the wiring, then all the wiring actually we are doing. What is the mean of wiring? Wiring means actually defining the dependent object. Is that clear? What is the mean of manual wiring is? Is that clear? What is the mean of manual wiring is? Okay. So see, initially we were talking about a tightly coupled system. The system was tightly coupled because directly we were using the implementing classes, or directly we were writing the object of the dependent class in the dependency class. Directly we were writing the object of the dependency class in the dependent class. This was the first case. What was the drawback? The main drawback was tight coupling. Then we come across the uses of the interfaces, and we come to know that instead of writing the object of implementing class, it is better to use the reference variable of the interface, and dependency we can pass directly from the public static void main. When we were passing the dependency using the public static void main, then the best part that actually we come across is that, sir, we are finding that our application is flexible. We can specify dependency according to our own choice. In future, if any more dependency is getting added, then no problem, our process is going to work perfectly smooth. Such type of system is referred as the loosely coupled system. Then actually we come across that, sir, instead of creating the object in the Java code itself, better to define the code in the form of XML file using the configuration metadata. We will just provide the configuration metadata. A Spring container will do the job for us. So this time, injecting the dependency, and business logic we have done completely separately. But so far, whatever knowledge we are having about the Spring container, so far we know only one thing, that every wiring we have to provide at our own level. Every dependency we have to define at our own. We just have to tell the Spring container, do this, do that. Is that point okay? Yes or no? Yes, it is. If we are telling all that thing, then definitely in such condition, you just directly go to one simple phase. You are saying that, sir, if we are doing manual wiring, then this look not so much advantages. We can define the same thing in the Java programming also. It is reasonable. It is reasonable. So actually, Spring Container says that don't worry, I am capable enough to automatically detect the dependency, and I can directly detect the dependency. I can directly inject the dependency into your code also. You don't need to worry. Seems interesting. Do you wanted to see how exactly Spring is going to perform this auto wiring? So what is the mean of auto wiring? This time we will not tell Spring Container what object you wanted to inject. We will just provide object to the Spring Container. A Spring Container will automatically detect the dependency and automatically inject the suitable object. Is that point okay? Means if I'm talking about the concept of auto wiring, then I do not have to define the object that we wanted to insert by ourselves. We don't have to define. A Spring Container will automatically do the job for you. For this thing, we are going to discuss about the concept that is called auto wiring. So concept of auto wiring, what is the need and what is the advantage? Is that point clear? What is the need and what is the advantage? Is that point clear? So this is an example of DAO pattern, and in the example of DAO pattern, we have actually integrated the manual wiring also. So just actually one comment I am writing for you. Into the comment, we are in the application.xml. So here actually we can say that, see, I am writing the comment here. We are actually defining the dependency by our own. So this type of wiring is called manual wiring. This type of wiring is called manual wiring. And what is the mean of wiring is, so if I'm talking about the wiring, so wiring is the process of, you can say that, injecting dependency to the class. Wiring is the process of injecting the dependency of the class. And because this time we are defining all the dependency, so this type of dependency is actually referred as the manual wiring dependency. So this example will be shared to you, and let me actually add the example. Let's say that I'm writing the name here. This is going to be manual wiring. Now the same project I am going to copy, and in this project this time I'm going to discuss with you auto wiring. Almost in the same project, I'm going to discuss to you next thing, and the next thing is what actually referred as the auto wiring. So this is going to be the example number 7. In the example number 7, we are going to take example of the auto wiring. Okay. So auto wiring I have written here, Alt F5 I have written. Thereafter I am talking about the force update. After writing the force update, then we are talking about the OK. Then few pointers that you should actually take care. Dependencies as it is, no need to take care for them. And actually classes, let them be as it is. I'm not worry about them. Just actually I'm going to do one job. The one job that actually I'm going to do is I'm defining one thing that is called application.xml. The one thing that actually we are writing is going to be application.xml. Into the application.xml, just actually one thing now I am writing for you. Just one thing I am writing for you. What is wiring? We have already done. We were defining the dependency. It was actually manual wiring. And this time, just actually, 1 second. Let me adjust the comments. So this time, okay, I'm writing that Spring will automatically detect the dependency. Spring container will automatically one scholar updated correctly that by mistake I was actually making changes in the example number 6. Thanks for this. Otherwise, there will be some problem. Just a minute. Yeah. So I'm in the application. No code I have actually changed. Just actually few changes I would love to do, that is into the package names, and into the package name, instead of example number 6, this time I'm talking about the example number 7. This time again, instead of example number 6, I'm writing example number 7. This is what actually I am writing here. So user.dow, it is available there. Thereafter user.dow IMPL, this is available there. Service layer, it is having package name example 7. That's good. So this package name is what actually I have to use everywhere. UI layer is available. After the UI layer, thereafter we are talking about the application.xml. After talking about the application.xml, first of all, creating the object of DAO class, no problem. First of all, creating the project of the DAO class, then creating the object of service class. Okay, listen please, this time. Example number 7. Into the example number 7, everyone, I have not used constructor arg tag. This time what is going on? This time actually Spring will automatically detect the dependency by its own and and inject the same This type of wiring is actually called auto wiring. This type of wiring is actually referred as the auto wiring. See, first number point. Has I used any constructor injection here? Have I used any constructor injection here? No. Have I used any setter injection here? Answer is no. Okay. This example is not complete so far. Just actually initially, for the sake of fancy display, I'm going to run this example in front of you. Right now, when I'm running this example in front of you, then actually you can see one thing, that object of user DAO IMPL is created. Why object of user DAO IMPL is created? Because if I'm talking about the user DAO IMPL class, then in the user DAO IMPL class, just a minute, into the user DAO IMPL class, I'm having a default constructor. And when default constructor is available, then there is no need to inject the dependency. Make sense? There is no need to inject the dependency. Clear, everybody? Why object of user DAO IMPL class is created? Is that point okay? Because the user DAO IMPL class says I have a default constructor, and in case of the default constructor, no dependency is required to be injected. So definitely by looking at application.xml, using this bean tag, we can easily create the dependency. Yes or no? Yes, simple one. We can easily create dependency. There is no problem. If I'm talking about the second number point, if I'm talking about the second number point, in case of the second number point, you can see that when I'm talking about the user service class, in case of the user service class, can you see that there is a parameterized constructor available? If I have defined a parameterized constructor, then will Java compiler provide default constructor, or the Java compiler will revoke its default constructor? Means the class is right now having only parameterized constructor. Yes or no? Yes, because right now class is having only parameterized constructor. So no matter whether you are creating the object or whether Spring Container is creating the object, it doesn't make any difference who is creating the object. But definitely constructor is required to be called. Answer is yes, because this is core Java concept. We cannot violate any concept. So now the question arises that, sir, your point is okay, we need to call the constructor. And here the problem is that if we look at the error message, then the error message clearly says that error while creating the bean with name user service defined in class path resources failed to instantiate. No default constructor found. Error message is logical? Yes or no? Error message is logical? Yes or no? Yes, it is. Now, actually, I'm going to add one small tag for you, and then I will discuss about that tag to you. Then I will discuss about that tag to you. So one thing that I'm writing, or one tag I'm writing, this tag is actually called the auto wire tag. And into the auto wire tag, I'm writing one thing that is actually referred as the by type. This is what I'm writing. What is the mean of that, etc., etc.? I will discuss later. But just actually one attribute I have added. The name of the attribute is AutoWire. And for the attribute AutoWire, I have provided the name, and the name is going to be by type. The name is going to be by type. Now by type is something I have added. Let me run the same example again. And when I'm running the same example again, just actually let me check what exactly it is telling. It says that no default constructor found. Just a second, might be I'm making some mistake. So we are writing auto wire, and for the value of the auto wire, we are writing by type. Just a second. So what is the name of the object? The name of the object is going to be user DAO IMPL. And here, what is the field? The field is user DAO. So we are having here user DAO, and the object is created with the name user DAO. So just a second, just a second, just a second. Bean ID equal to user service class. Actually, I am creating AutoWire. In the AutoWire, I am writing here by name, and my possibly wrong tag I have used last time. Coming to app.java, Alt Shift XJ. Oh, again exception. Exception encountered during context initialization, canceling refresh context, and it says bean exception error creating the bean user service defined in class path resource failed to instantiate user service IMPL. It says that the no default constructor found. We are writing here user DAO. Here we have to provide the object of user DAO here. And if I'm talking about the application.xml, in the application.xml, I have instantiated, yes, it is. And definitely that dependency should be automatically provided to the user DAO IMPL. This dependency should be provided to the user DAO IMPL. Once actually just project. Let me sometime cleaning also help. Sometimes the clean operation also help. If there is any old files available or old data available, then this practice sometime help. Maven dependencies I have already added, and let me actually one more time refresh. So this part is almost updating. Updating is done. Alt Shift X J again I am pressing. Oh, no luck. No luck. So just actually let me check. This is what actually auto wiring is. This is what exactly auto wiring is. So I'm providing the name of auto wiring that is called by name. So when I'm providing by name, then name is going to be matched, no problem. Next type of auto wire is available by type. Let me check the spelling if I have made something wrong. Application auto wire. Is that auto wire same? Auto wire attribute is same. Then I'm talking about the dependency type. Dependency type I'm writing by name. Spelling is also matching. There is no problem. Thereafter, bean ID equal to something, class equal to something. Bean ID equal to user service, class equal to also okay. Auto wire by name is also okay. Then bean stack is what we are closing. Why it is not actually accepting? If I'm talking about by name in this strategy, if a bean ID attribute in the application.context file matches with the user variable property of the dependent bean, then the Spring container implicitly perform the setter injection into the dependent bean. Same thing I'm doing. What is the name of bean here? The name of the bean is user DAO here. Into the user service IMPL, what is the name here? The name is again user DAO. So name is matching. Name is matching when I'm creating the object of user service IMPL. com.masai school block 28 SB201 service. No problem in this case. We have cleaned the project also. Still it is depending for the default constructor such that when actually I am writing auto wire by name. When I'm writing auto wire by name, still it is creating problem. Just a second. It is DAO is available, then setter method is available. After the setter method, then One second. Possible error I have detected. Possible error I have detected. Just a minute. Let me try it again. Oh, yes, perfect. Detected. See, actually I have written auto wire equal to constructor. I have written auto wire equal to constructor. See, first of all, what is the use of this auto wire attribute is? Slightly, I think you are able to frame that this is used to perform the auto wiring. Yes or no? One thing that you able to perform that we are talking about the auto wiring. See, this time when I'm talking about the auto wiring, so I'm writing auto wire equal to constructor. What is the mean of writing auto wire equal to constructor? So there is a simple logic available. I am saying that you have to provide the dependency to the constructor. I'm saying you have to provide the dependency to the constructor. Now I'm making minor changes in this code. Why I'm making minor changes? Because I wanted to go step by step. So let's say that instead of providing this method, then I'm talking about the getter and setter method. And while talking about the getter and setter method, then I'm talking about the generate method. And after talking about the generate method, setter getter is available. Let them be as it is. Let them be as it is. Getter method is also of no use for me. And here, system.out.println. And I'm writing here that is inside setter method. Inside setter method. Going to application config.java, and this time while talking about the application config.java, so I'm writing one thing that is called by name. Let me run this example again. Working. See, I'm giving you a complete recalling of this project. Then I will start my explanation. First of all, user.DAO is an interface. In this interface, we are having one method that is called the add method, and one more method we are having that is called the has name method. One more method that is called the has name method. If I'm talking about the class user.DAO IMPL, then the user.DAO IMPL class is an implementing class. The user.DAO IMPL class is a implementing class. Okay. Thereafter, everyone, one more thing is available that is called the user service. If I'm talking about the user service, then we are writing public void add user. In the public void add user, there is one thing available that is called string name, and has user is available. Okay. First thing, everyone, this time, if I'm talking about the injections for the user service IMPL. So for the user service IMPL, will it be setter injection or it will be constructor injection? Please tell. Repeating my question, take a look at this code and please do let me know for the user service IMPL. Will it be setter injection, option number 1, or it is going to be a constructor injection, option number 2? Definitely option number 1, this is going to be a setter injection. Those who are writing constructor injection, simple question I am asking you. Without creating a parameterized constructor, can you perform constructor injection? Everyone, please answer. This question is open for all. Without creating a parameterized constructor, can you create constructor injection? Definitely not. So why you are writing constructor injection? One more point that actually I am telling you. This time, can I say that the default constructor is provided by Java compiler itself? Yes, it is. So definitely object will be created by the Spring container, but dependency will be injected when setter method will be called by the Spring container after creating the object. Yes or no? After creating the object, a Spring container will call that. Is that okay? Clear, everyone? So please do not be in any such kind of apprehension that this is constructor injection now. If I'm talking about the name of the bean, can I say here name of the bean is user.DAO? If I'm talking about the name of the reference variable in this code, then the name of the reference variable is user.DAO. If I'm coming to file that is called application.xml, In the application.xml, can you see one thing that if I am talking about this class, if I am talking about this class that is user.DAO IMPL, for the user.DAO IMPL, when I am defining an object in the bean configuration metadata, then the name of object that is created by Spring container itself, the name is user.DAO, yes or no? The object of user.DAO IMPL class that is created by Spring container. If I'm talking about the name of the reference variable, or if I'm talking about name of the object, then can I say that the name of the object is user.DAO? Yes or no? Yes, it is. Comfortable, everyone? Okay. And if I'm talking about the name of the reference variable in the user service IMPL class, then can you see that name of object that is created by Spring container and name of reference variable defined in the user service IMPL class both are same? Yes or no? Shall I repeat or is it okay? Once again, I am repeating. Last time, the object that is created by a Spring container for the user.DAO IMPL class. The object is actually containing the reference variable with the name user.DAO, or we can say that user.DAO is a reference variable that is pointing to the object of user.DAO IMPL class. When it is going to create object of the user service class, when it is going to create object of the user service IMPL class. So while creating the object, definitely it will allocate memory to the variable user.DAO. It's a reference variable. So this time, can I say that the object that is available in the Spring container for the user.DAO and the reference variable that we have defined of the user.DAO, both are having exactly same name? Yes or no? Everyone answer please. And if they are having same name, mind this time, they are having same name. When they are having same name, then this time actually I have specified that auto wire equal to by name. When I have specified auto wire equal to by name, then always keep one thing in the mind. The thing is that everyone, this time, actually your Spring container will look for a bean whose name is actually user DAO. So is that Spring container already containing a bean whose name is user DAO? Yes or no? Yes, it is containing. And because it is containing the bean name with the user DAO, so it will automatically inject that bean. Is that point clear? So this is what actually referred as the auto wire by name. This is what actually referred as auto wire by name. So the point that actually I am writing is, again, I am adding one point here. The point that actually I am writing here that because we are using auto wire equal to by name, or the point that I am writing, let me make it full screen. So simple point is that auto wire equal to by name means we have means Spring container will look for the bean that has name same as defined in the dependent class. If defined in the dependent class, then we are writing one thing that if the dependency is found, then definitely it will be injected. Is that one clear? What is the mean of auto wire equal to by name is? Is that one clear? What is the mean of auto wire by name is? Now let me do one more experiment. This time, for example, let's say I'm changing the name of the bean from user.DAO to user.DAO temp. When I'm providing the name from user.DAO to user.DAO temp in this condition, let me run this program again. So to run this program again, I am opening the file app.java. Thereafter, actually, I am writing Alt Shift XJ. And when I'm writing Alt Shift XJ, then can you see that there is one exception available, and the name of exception is null pointer exception. The name of the exception is null pointer exception. What is the mean of null pointer exception? First of all, please understand very, very carefully. This time, the reference variable in the service class is having name user.DAO, but the object available in the Spring container is having name user.DAO temp. When it is writing the user.DAO temp, so I'm actually asking a very simple question to you. The simple question that I'm asking to you is, this time, your Spring container will be able to inject? Will your Spring container be able to inject the bean? Answer is 100% no. And if it is not able to inject the bean, then in this condition, we are going to find that object is actually null. Or if I'm talking about the reference variable, then the reference variable is actually null. So this time listen, when we are calling the add user method, then when we are calling the add user method, so here, if I'm talking about the user DAO.add, then don't you think that here it will find the null pointer exception? Yes or no? Don't you think that here it will actually find the null pointer exception? Make sense? In this line, it will have null pointer exception. Now take a look at the message. The message is clearly saying that exception in thread main java.lang.null pointer exception cannot invoke com.masaischool.b27 user DAO.add because 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 this dot user DAO is null. And can you see directly it is pointing to that line number 16, user service impl.java. So simple logic, can we say that if the dependency is not found, definitely object will be created, but dependency will not be inserted, and it will be initialized with null. Or dependent reference variable will have the value null, but object will be created successfully. Yes or no? This case is clear, everyone? So we are writing that Spring will automatically detect the dependency by its own, inject the same. So this is called actually the concept of auto wiring. When I'm calling the concept of the auto wiring, thereafter auto wire equal to by name means Spring container will look for the bean that has name same as defined in the dependent class. If the dependency is found, then it will be injected. Second number case, if the dependency is not found. Second case, if the dependency is not found, then actually it will not be. Then object will be created, but the dependent reference variables will be initialized with value null. Is that point clear? Behavior of by name is clear. Yes, that's good. So right now actually I am restoring and I'm making this line comment also so that you can actually try to execute in both the conditions. For the sake of just, you can say that case 1, case 2. So this time initially I'm talking about the case 1 when actually the name is 100% matching. When the name is 100% matching, then there is no problem. You will get the correct output. When name is not matching, then definitely null pointer exception will be there. But your bean will be created. Okay. Can I say that by default auto wiring is not working? Let's say this time if I have removed this annotation, I have removed this attribute, that is auto wire equal to by name. I have removed this attribute. And this time actually you can see one thing, sir, bean is available with same name. Still, if we try to run the application, then actually ultimately we ended up with exception. Actually, ultimately we ended up with exception. See, simple thing. Why exactly this is happening? If you do not specify auto wiring by name, then Spring container automatically or by default assume auto wiring equal to no. Means auto wiring is disabled by default. Can I say this thing? You are having object with the same name, but still because you have not mentioned auto wire equal to by name, so Spring container is not injecting the dependency. So can I say that by default auto wiring is disabled? Can I say that by default auto wiring is disabled? So simple, you can say that if I'm talking about the auto wire attribute, for the auto wire attribute, so far we had discussion about the two values. The first value is no, that is the default value. The first value is no, which is the default value. And if I'm talking about the second value is by name. In case of by name, always keep in mind the object and the dependent reference variable both should have the same name. If they are having same name, then dependency will be injected. Otherwise, dependency will not be injected. Your reference variable will be null, but object of dependent class will be created. Is that point okay? Shall I move to next type? Shall I move to next type? Yes, it is. So always keep in mind by default auto wiring is always disabled. This point specifically I am mentioning here. That is auto wire by name. So I am mentioning here that so one point that actually I am writing is that auto wiring AUTOWI, auto wiring is actually disabled by default. IE, IE. No is the default value for the auto wire attribute. Is that okay? I think this line will help you. What is the default value of auto wire attribute? It is no. So two values we have discussed so far. One value I have discussed is called simple. You can say that no. And second I am calling is by name. Now I am going to talk about the third one. And third one is going to be by type. The third one is going to be by type. So for the by type, again, I'm going to almost copy the same example. And by copying the same example, you will actually automatically understand. So first thing I am writing, this is auto wiring, and we are talking about by name. Control C, Control V. Thereafter, we are writing that B21 SB201 example number 8. Then we are talking about the auto wiring. And this time we are talking about the thing that is called the by type. B28 SB201 example 8 DAO pattern auto wiring. Thereafter auto wiring we are writing about by type. Okay, so for the sake of by type, just actually minor changes I am going to do. First thing, I am changing the name of the package. First thing I am writing, changing the name of the package. Okay, after changing the name of the package, I am opening the configuration file, and let me actually update this project also. So I am updating this project. Now listen. Now listen. XML version equal to 1.0 UTF-8. Thereafter bean XML namespace something we are writing. Bean ID equal to user DAO, and we have created an object of bean class. Okay. This time everyone, I am giving the name, and the name I am writing is, let's say, temp. Name this time I am writing is temp. Okay. When I'm writing the name temp, so can I say one thing, that sir, one object of user DAO IMPL class is created, but name of the object is temp. Yes or no? Name of the object is temp. Yes. When the name of the object is temp, so this time, if I'm writing auto wire equal to by name, so what do you think? Is that dependency, will that dependency be injected? No, definitely. This dependency cannot be injected. Answer is yes, because name are different. Still, if you wanted to provide the dependency, then there is one more value available, and this value is actually available by type. This value is available, that is called by type. Keep in mind, again, I'm talking about the setter injection. Again, I'm talking about setter injection. So when I'm talking about the by type, so this time, what is the name of the bean? It actually doesn't make any difference. Whenever a Spring container is finding the compatible bean, then that compatible bean will be injected into the dependent reference variable. Is that point clear? Yes. So this is what actually referred as the by type. So this time actually what we are writing, let's say we are writing auto wire equal to by type, means Spring container will look for the bean that is compatible to the dependency reference variable. That is compatible to the dependency reference variable. If it is compatible to the dependency reference variable, look for that is compatible to dependency reference variable. If the dependency is found, then it will be injected. If the dependency is not found, then what is the behavior, that I will tell you shortly. So this time everyone, first case, do I am having compatible dependency? Do I am having compatible object for the dependency? Yes or no? Yes, it is. Thereafter. So let me do a simple job. I am actually running this file, and when I am running this file, if dependency is injected properly, then I will get the proper output. But this is not happy. Just a second. It says that cannot find the class. Oh, I forgot to change the package name in the XML file. So Alt Shift XJ. So this time everyone, please tell me, by type is working or not? Working perfectly. So, okay. One more case that I'm writing. For example, let's say that there is no dependency available. I have made it comment. Now this bean is no longer available. If I'm writing Alt Shift XJ, When I'm writing all shift xj, then again, can you see that the same behavior is getting repeated? Object of service IMPL class is created, but the dependent reference variable is assigned with the value null. Yes or no? The dependent reference variable is assigned with the value null. Is that point clear? So by type and by name, what is the difference? I hope this thing is clear to you. Yes or no? Let me talk about the last case. The last case is that if more than one dependency is found, if more than one dependency is found, then ultimately you will end up with exception. Why? Because if more than one dependency is available, or let's say that two objects of the user DAO IMPL class is available, then actually your Spring container will get confused. Which object actually shall I insert? Which object actually shall I inject? It will not able to understand. And when it will not able to understand the same, so it will say, I am not going to decide anything. This is an exception according to me, and you will find an exception. The name of the exception is going to be no unique bean definition exception. Shall I take one example? Yes, it is. So if more than one dependency is found, then actually a Spring container will get actually confused, and actually it will, you can say that terminate the application with the exception, or it will be good no unique bean definition exception. No unique bean definition exception. This is what actually we are writing. So let me try. For example, let's say that first bean is available, that is temp. Second bean I'm writing, let's say that name of the second bean I'm writing temp2. First bean I'm writing temp1. So this time two objects I have created. I'm running this code alt shift xj, and after writing alt shift xj, so there is one long error message is available, and for this long error message, can you see that there is one exception available, and the name of the exception is no unique bean definition exception? Yes or no? And if I'm talking about the parent exception, or actually the child exception is actually unsatisfied dependency exception. The child exception is unsatisfied dependency exception. Is that point okay? Everyone, third point is verified. Yes, that's good. That's good. That's good. So two things we have done: auto wire, bean ID, and so on and so on. Auto wire by type is something that we have done. And then actually we are talking about the next thing. If I'm talking about the next thing, so three values so far we have come across. The first value is referred as no. Second value is by name. Third value is available, that is called by type. All the three values are clear, everyone, with corresponding cases. I have randomly asked some scholars to unmute. They
Yes,
are
sir.
requested to submit their opinion if they understand or not.
Hello. Hello, sir.
Hello. Yes. Why you people are not responding? Those who are unmuted, is that okay? How this dependence injection is working in case of auto wiring?
Sir, in auto wiring, temp1 and temp2 are the objects that we are creating, or we are providing the class name.
So two cases we have done. Now I'm going to discuss about the final value, and the final value is going to be auto wire equal to constructor. See, when we are writing auto wire equal to no, In case of the auto wire equal to no, there is no need to think anything because you are talking about by default. Auto wiring is off. So there is no logic of writing auto wiring equal to no in any application. Yes or no? There is no logic of writing auto wire equal to no because by default auto wire is always no. Yes, it is. If you wanted to inject the dependency on the behalf of, if you wanted to inject the dependency on the behalf of name, then you have to use auto wire equal to by name. If you wanted to inject the dependency on the behalf of type, then you have to write down that is auto wire equal to by type. Is that clear, everyone? Is that clear? Okay. Here actually few more cases that I wanted to talk to you. This time you can see actually how many beans are available. That's why 2 beans are available here. How many beans are available? 2 beans are available. If I'm going to run the application, then ultimately I will end up with the exception, and the exception is going to be no unique bean exception or unsatisfied dependency exception. Yes, it is. Sir, can we actually provide any favorite choice? Answer is yes, you can provide a favorite choice. And if you wanted to provide a favorite choice, then there is one attribute available. The attribute is called primary attribute. The attribute is called primary attribute, and I'm setting primary equal to true. What is the mean of writing primary equal to true? When I'm writing primary equal to true means I am telling to the Spring container specifically that Spring container, if you are having multiple choices, please do not throw the exception. The bean in which I have written primary equal to true, you should directly inject this bean. Getting my point? So primary equal to true is a kind of tiebreaker. Primary equal to true is a kind of tiebreaker. So this time actually when multiple dependencies are available, we are using by type. If you wanted to inject the dependency, so let's see if the code is working or not. So this time everyone code is working. So what is the mean of primary equal to true? Is that clear? Yes, it is. So this is what simple thing is available. So you can say that to avoid exception, we can use primary equal to true to define favorite bean to be injected. Okay. This is one more thing that is available to us. Then everyone, I'm going to, okay, this is what actually by name, by type is something we have done. Finally, I'm going to discuss about the fourth type of value, and the fourth type of value is referred as auto wire equal to constructor. The fourth type of value is referred as auto wire equal to constructor. So just actually take a look here. Few values for the auto wiring. First thing, initially I was talking to you. The process of association among the application component is known as wiring. Already told you explicit, implicit. To instruct the Spring container to perform auto wiring for a particular bean, we make use of auto wire attribute inside the bean tag with any one of the following values. The first value is available now, second is available by name, third is available by type, and fourth is available constructor. In bean auto wiring, Spring container automatically inject a bean dependency by either calling a setter method or by calling the parameter constructor without writing explicitly inside the Spring configuration file. Limitation I will discuss to you later. Limitation I will discuss to you later. See, note. Bean tag has auto wire attribute and its default value is no. It means by default auto wiring is disabled in XML based auto wiring configuration. Whereas in case of the annotation base, we will talk about the annotation base later. First strategy is available that is called by name. In this strategy, if a bean ID attribute value in application context.xml file matches with the variable oblique property name of the dependent bean, then Spring container will implicitly perform the setter injection, and this type of wiring is called by name. If the dependency is unmatched, container will not inject the bean. It means property will remain with the null value. Same thing, everyone. Already mentioned in the comment. Yes or no? Next point, by type. In this strategy, the Spring container will search for a bean for the Spring configuration file that matches the property type. If match, then Spring container inject that dependency object by calling the setter method of the dependent class. If unmatched, then property will remain null. Again, the same concept. Again, the same concept. Finally, I am talking about the constructor injection for the auto wiring. And for the constructor injection of the auto wiring, we have to set auto wire equal to constructor. So in this strategy, the Spring container uses constructor injection instead of setter injection. Dependency resolution is done by using maximum number of argument constructor if constructors are overloaded. Now there is a pointer available. First, it uses by name. If not found, then it uses by type. And in case by type is matched for more than one, then ambiguity exception will occur. Then ambiguity exception will occur. If no matching bean is available, then unsatisfied dependency exception will be there. This kind of wiring is least preferred because of constructor ambiguity and circular dependency. Okay, so it will be good to take the same example. So again, kind of copy paste I'm going to do. So while doing the copy paste, Control C, Control V, and this time I'm writing that auto wiring, and into the auto wiring I'm writing the point that is called the constructor. So B28 SB201, example number 9, and it is DAO pattern auto wiring. So let me copy this. Thereafter, I'm going to expand this, and let me actually update this project to get the Maven dependencies. Once the Maven dependencies I'm getting, then it will be good to update the projects. So this is 9 number here also. This is 9 number here also. This is going to be 9 number. Okay. Then here, coming to resources, application.xml file into the application.xml file. This time I have created one bean, and ID of the bean. Let's say that initially I am writing this is user DAO. Initially I am writing user DAO. And here one more thing I am writing, this is going to be auto wire equal to constructor. This is what we are writing, that auto wire equal to constructor. So the point that we are writing that for auto wire equal to constructor means a Spring container look for the bean that is compatible for the dependency reference variable. If the dependency is found, then definitely it will be injected. And keep in mind that for the or you can say that it uses by name, it uses by name, and then actually by type strategy for the STRATEGY by type strategy for the, it uses by name, and then by type strategy for the dependency allocation, for the dependency allocation. Rest of the things are not required. Rest of the things are not required. This time I have written auto wire equal to constructor. Okay, first of all, everyone, the name of the bean is user DAO. And if I'm talking about the name of the bean in the service class, then name of the bean in the service class is again user DAO. So this time, can I say that for the constructor injection, first I have to create constructor. First, I have to create constructor. So constructor is first actually we have created, and one simple pointer that actually I am asking you. This time, everyone, can I say that auto wire equal to constructor will work? And because name is 100% same, that's why it will work perfectly. Yes or no? Because name equal to same, that's why it will work perfectly. So I am writing that is inside parameterized constructor. Alt Shift X J. Sorry, I have to open this file, and after opening this file, Alt Shift X J, I am writing, and there is a problem. Oh, annotation, annotation. 9 number, again it is 9 number. Alt Shift X J this time. So first case, everyone, is that working perfect? Yes or no? First case, verified that it is working on the concept of by name. Yes, it is. And now let me do one thing. For example, I am changing the name to temp. For example, I'm changing the name to temp. When I'm changing the name to temp, in this condition, let me run this application again, Alt Shift XJ. Again, it is working. So can I say this is going to work on the concept of by type? Yes or no? So in case of constructor, first preference is to by name, second preference is to by type. Okay, let me do one more example. So while doing one more example, let's say that I'm creating the bean, and while creating the bean, first bean is created with the name user DAO, second bean is created with the name temp. So this time actually multiple choices are available. If I'm running this application, if I'm running this application, then actually, one second, let me check what exactly I have done. It is producing some ID thereafter auto wire constructor. Yes, so nothing wrong I have done. It says that using deprecated debug fallback parameter name resolution compiler the attached parameter avoid instead of intro inspection. Just a warning. It is just a warning. Local variable tablet parameters. Okay, well, overall, but first point is that everyone, first point, can you see why there is ambiguity? Do not think that this is an ambiguity. Listen, everyone, is there any exception? Is there any exception? No, it is just a warning. It says that actually name should not be exposed outside. This is having a different meaning. But can I say that when multiple choices are available, then choice that is provided using the by name, it automatically wins? Yes or no? The choice that is provided by name, it actually automatically wins. Yes or no? Yes, it is. Because the choice that is provided by name automatically wins. So in case of confusion, you will actually not land into the trouble. But let's say that this time I'm changing the name to temp2 and this is temp1. I'm changing the name to temp2 and temp1 thereafter all shift xj. So this time can you see that this is again going to be no unique bean definition exception? Perfect. Yes, it is. So first by name is going to be the winner. And let me talk about the third case. Into the third case, for example, let's say everyone, if I'm talking about this part, if I'm talking about this part, let's say no dependency is available. If no dependency is available in this condition, let me run the example. And when I'm running the example, then can you see that it says that no bean is available for dependency? Yes or no? This is the beauty of constructor injection. In case of constructor injection, dependence is required. Getting my point? In case of dependency injection, it is required or there is another way available to you. So for example, let's say that I am available into the user service IMPL. Into the user service IMPL, nothing special I am doing, just actually I am talking about the generating the constructor from the super class. If I'm talking about the generating constructor from the super class, thereafter, I'm talking about the app.java all shift xj. This time, can you see one thing that there is different type of exception? Last time we were getting the exception that is called no bean available exception or no such bean exception. But this time we are getting null pointer exception. So can I say that in case of dependency is missing, then actually object is created using the default constructor, but definitely the default constructor will assign value null to the reference variable. And that's why I have ended it with the null pointer exception. Clear? Yes or no? Yes, it is. Okay. Now, final case I'm going to discuss with you. The final case that I'm writing with you is everyone. Let's say that this time I am writing the first case and into the first case, I am giving the name that is user DAO. So first question, don't you think that this time two constructors are available? Yes, it is. This time two constructors are available. When two constructors are available, still there is no error related to ambiguity. Why? Because always keep in mind, Spring always give priority to the constructor that is having highest number of matching. Clear? String will Spring will always create object using the constructor that is having highest number of matching. Is that okay? If matching is available, then definitely your parameterized constructor will be called. If matching is not available, then actually it will call the default or the less parameter constructor. Is that point okay? How Spring is deciding? Yes, Spring is actually greedy. Spring is actually greedy. It says that, okay, how many constructor you are having, default and parameterize. So it will always says that I will actually try to call the constructor for which maximum number of dependencies are available. So this time by looking at the application.xml file, can I say that the dependency is available for parameterized constructor? Yes or no? And because dependency is available for the parameterized constructor, that's why your parameterized constructor will be called. Now is that clear? Why Spring is greedy? Because more dependency you are providing at the initial time, then definitely the Spring container will be able to create a better object graph. The Spring container will be able to create a better object graph. This is what actually you should keep into mind. So all the four values clear, everyone? The first value that is called no, second value that is by name, third value that is by type, and fourth value that is constructor. No is the default value. And if we are talking about the by name, by type, they are applicable for the setter injection. Constructor says that I will call the constructor to inject the dependency. But again, I will go for the two values. The first value is going to be by name, and then I will go with by type. Is that clear? Yes, it is. So this is what actually referred as your bean auto wiring. So bean auto wiring is one scope that we have done. Thereafter, everyone, remaining codes are not so much long. Remaining codes are not so much long. We will be able to complete this XML configuration today, almost 100%. Remaining things we will do, no problem. We will do, because once you are good with the XML configuration, then migrating to annotation is not a big deal. We will be able to do that, no problem. And it is already somewhat, you can say that 13 past, sorry, 2 past 13. So see you back at this time. Okay. Wiring is completed. Now there is one more thing available, that is called early initialization and lazy initialization. Bean scope and injecting collection type is one more thing that we are going to discuss. See, if I'm talking about injecting of the collection type, bean life cycle we will cover slightly later because this is a long topic. So some small topics I'm going to take for you. Some topics that actually I'm going to take for you. First of all, everyone, okay, let me discuss about the injecting collection type, because this is, see, injecting collection type is again important. Many of the times it is asked in the interviews. Even it has asked to me also multiple times, that how you will inject a, you can say that map, how you will inject a list, how you will inject a set, how you will inject a properties, how you will inject a array, etc. These are the questions that are very common. So without wasting time, let me control C, control V, and I'm talking about B28. This is going to be the example number 10, and into the example number 10, we are talking about, this is called injecting collections. This is called injecting collections. And into the injecting collections, where it is 10 number. Oh. So no service layer is needed actually this time, no UI is needed this time. So I'm going to rename the packages, and this time I'm talking about, this is going to be the package number 10 only. And remaining packages I can delete, they are not required now. So service is okay, test package is of no use for me since day one. App.java is one thing that is available, and because, just a minute, I have to update the project. Project is updated, and then yes. So I'm going to create a class. The name of the class, for example, let's say I'm writing demo. Into the demo class, just I'm creating one. Let's say that private list of string I'm writing, and this private string is containing, let's say that cities. Thereafter, I'm talking about the next thing. Into the next thing, for example, let's say that I'm talking about a set, and let's say this is going to be a set of integer values. And this time I'm talking about, let's say, for example, let's say it's rank, for example. Thereafter, I'm talking about private map, and into the map, for example, let's say I'm talking about key is going to be of integer type, and value is going to be of the string type. This is what actually we are writing. So import statement is done. Thereafter, I wanted to generate a constructor. So I'm generating the constructor using the field. Constructor is generated. After generating the constructor, I'm talking about the toString method, and toString method is again provided here. ToString method is provided here. So this time, everyone, can I say one thing, that whenever I wanted to create the object of this demo class, then to create the object of the demo class, I always have to provide list, set, and map from the configuration metadata. Yes or no? Definitely. Now the question arises how to provide. So to provide them, I'm going to teach you the syntaxes. So first of all, going to application.xml file. Into the application.xml connection it was. Temporary disconnection it was. And don't worry, I have not written even a single letter since I come to know that there is network issue. See, first thing, initially I created a class. The name of the class is called demo. In the demo class, you can say that private list string cities is available, private set integer rank is available, private map is available. I have created a parameterized constructor, and the parameterized constructor is going to insert list as well as set as well as map. I wanted to create the object of this class. To create the object of this class in the configuration metadata, I am writing bean id equal to demo, class equal to com dot masai school dot b2b sb201 example 10 dot demo. Now, because I wanted to provide parameter for the constructor, so to provide parameter for the constructor, I have to use constructor arg tag. I have to use constructor arg tag. This time, how many dependencies total I wanted to inject? That's why I wanted to inject the 3 dependencies. So to inject the 3 dependencies, the constructor arg tag I am copying for the 3 times. If I'm talking about the first dependency, then definitely first dependency is actually available for injecting the list. Yes or no? The first dependency is available for injecting the list. How to inject the list? To inject the list, simple, you have to use a tag. The tag is going to be list tag. The list tag is opening tag is there, closing tag is there. After the opening and the closing tag, after the opening and the closing tag, then I have to use one more tag that is called the value tag. So value tag is closed for the one time. And let's say that I wanted to add 4 values. So 4 values I am writing here. The first value that I'm writing is, let's say it is going to be Bangalore. Second value, for example, let's say I am writing is Mumbai. Third value that actually I am writing is going to be, let's say that Delhi. And the fourth value that actually I am going to write is going to be Jaipur. These are the 4 values that I am writing. So from this example, simply can I say one thing, that whenever I wanted to inject a list, then to inject a list, I have to use the list tag. And into the list tag, value tag is available that is used to specify every single element. Is that point okay? Everyone, is that point clear? How to inject a list? Yes, it is. That's good. Second parameter I have to inject is for the set. And to inject a set, so if I'm talking about the class demo, then it is just a set of integer. For the set of integer, again, I have to use the tag. The tag is going to be set tag. And within the set tag, again, I have to use the value tag. Within the set tag, again, I have to use the value tag. So for example, let's say for the value tag that I'm writing the value that is going to be 3. Next value that actually I am writing is going to be, let's say 1. And the next value that I'm writing is, let's say it is 2. So these are the 3 values that I have inserted. So set I have inserted, list I have inserted. Now I'm talking about the next part. Into the next part, I'm talking about the map. And when I'm talking about the map part, so I'm writing here for map. And after writing the for map, then I'm writing here map tag here. I'm writing here map tag. Within the map tag, this time no value tag is required, but there is a separate tag available. The name of the tag is called entry tag. The name of the tag is called entry tag. Into the entry tag, first attribute is available key. Second attribute is available that is called value. So using the entry tag, for example, let's say that if I'm talking about the key, then the key is going to be of integer type, value is going to be of the string type. So let's say that I am talking about the key number 10. For the key number 10, let's say I am writing some random string abgt. Thereafter, I am talking about the 15 number key. Onto the 15 number key, let's say that I am writing this one. Thereafter, I am writing about the 5 number key. Into the 5 number key, then I am writing, let's say, this one. So this is something that actually we have injected. So everyone, actually into the app.java context I have taken. From the context, definitely I can call the getBean method. And when actually we are talking about the getBean method, so first thing I have to provide is the name of the bean. Second thing I have to provide is the name of the class. So name of the class, let's say that I'm talking, this is going to be demo.class. If I'm talking about the name of the bean, then definitely the name of the bean is going to be demo. The name of the bean is going to be demo. Then everyone, I wanted to assign the same. So having this part, and after having this part, then finally I'm writing here system.out.println bean. If everything is okay, then can I expect that it will actually output me elements of the list, then elements of the set, and then elements of the map, as you can see within the toString method. Yes or no? Yes, it is. So I'm available into the app.java. Thereafter, I'm pressing Alt Shift XJ, and it says that there is some error available in this project. Let me check that where is that error. So just actually clicking here and into the import statement, there is some error available. No need to have this import. Okay. Alt Shift XJ. And when I'm writing Alt Shift XJ, then mysteriously there are some error available. Let me check what exactly there is error. It says that line number 10 in XML document from the path resource is invalid. Okay. Invalid content found into the starting constructor ARG. One of the, just 1 second, let me check. I'm in the application context. Spelling mistake of constructor, CONSTRUCTOR. Spelling mistake in case of constructor, and the same mistake is getting repeated for 6 times. Constructor ARG, as I think it is. Constructor ARG. Let me come to app.java again. Thereafter, Alt Shift XJ. And when I'm writing Alt Shift XJ, so this time, please take a look at the output. Can I say that the list, the set, and the map, they are injected properly? Yes or no? Available? Great. So how to inject the collection objects? How to inject the collection object? Is that clear? So this is another small example, and sometimes questions are asked from this example also. In the similar track, everyone, you can insert about the property files also. If I'm talking about at the bottom of this document, then in the bottom of this document, you can see that examples are available. How to insert the map, example is available, how to insert the set, how to insert the properties. For all of these, examples are available. You can refer to them. Just one more thing is there. If you wanted to provide the value for the properties, then you can provide the value for the property file also, properties also. For injecting the properties, props tag is available. Then in the props tag, we have to use the prop tag. Again, in the prop tag, it is going to be key and value you have to write down within the angle brackets. So second part is also completed. That is injecting the collection objects. That is all about injecting the collection type dependencies. Second part is done. Let me come to this sheet. So injecting collection type is done. Then talking about one more example for you. I'm talking about one more example for you. Let's say this example I'm going to integrate directly here. I'm talking about the demo.java. Into the demo.java, let's say I'm writing one simple thing, that is system.out.println. And into the system.out.println, let's say that I'm writing here, this is inside constructor. Let's say that the value I'm writing is inside constructor. When I'm writing value the inside constructor, and thereafter when I'm running this example, everyone, then can you see that inside constructor is printed as the first line, which looks perfectly okay. Thereafter, I'm writing system.out.println. I'm writing that inside main, and I'm writing here that is container initialized. Container initialized. Alt Shift X J. So can I say that initially when the line number 9 is getting executed, at the same time, actually container is getting initialized, and whatever objects I have written in the configuration metadata, the objects are created immediately. Yes or no? Yes, it is. So actually the thing is that let's say that I am not using that bean. Let's say I am not using that bean. Even if I am not using that bean, still the bean is created. Yes or no? So did you remember in the Hibernate, there was one thing available, that is fetch type lazy, fetch type eager. In case of fetch type lazy, the dependency, or you can say that the data is pulled from the database only when it is needed. In case of fetch type eager, the data is pulled from the database no matter whether you are going to use the same or not. In case of Hibernate, if you remember, so if I'm talking about, let's say that one to many, or if I'm talking about many to many relationship, in both the cases, it was actually using the lazy loading. But in case of many to one, or in case of one to one, it is going to use simple, you can say that eager loading. But if I'm talking about the Spring container, so by looking at this behavior, what would you suggest? Is that eager loading option number one, or is that lazy loading option number two? Please tell. Just four responses I have received so far. Same scholars are repeating the responses. Yes, this is actually called eager loading. So can I say that by default, the Spring container follows the concept of eager loading? And when the container is getting initialized, immediately actually it wanted to create all the objects. Is that point okay? Yes, it is. That's nice. So this is what actually referred as the loading. So by default, your Spring container always talk about the concept of eager loading. It says that always I wanted to create the object as the container is getting loaded. So application context container by default performs early initialization or eager initialization. It means container create the object of the Spring Bean when Spring configuration XML file will be loaded in the memory. At this line, only all the beans class registered inside the XML will be instantiated, i.e. their object will be created, their dependencies will be resolved, and if any init method is configured, those methods will be called. If we wanted to tell application context container that lazy initialization we wanted to perform, see, what if I wanted to perform the lazy initialization? So definitely you can perform the lazy initialization very easily. There is nothing special in that. So for example, everyone, let's say that the same bean definition I am copying again. Let's say that the same bin definition I am copying again. While copying the same bin definition, let's say this time I am writing this is going to be id demo 2. For the previous one, let's say I am going to write down about the id, this is going to be demo 1. So in this condition, everyone, simple thing, demo 2 is available. Constructor arg, let me change the city name. For example, let's say city name I am writing this is Manhattan. One name, let's say that I am writing is Chicago. One more name, let's say that I'm writing this is going to be Sydney. One more name, let's say that I'm writing this is going to be, for example, let's say Nagasaki, or it will be good to say, let's say this is going to be, for example, let me keep it Delhi, this one, capital cities. For the set, for the keys, whatever be the value, let them be as it is. Let them be as it is. But this time, everyone, I'm actually adding one more attribute. The attribute that actually I'm adding is lazy init. And for the lazy init, I'm providing the value that is called the true. That is called the true. Or let me do one simple job. For example, everyone, I have not used lazy init initially. For example, I have not used lazy init initially. I am pressing Alt Shift X J. How many times constructors are called? How many times constructor is called? Two times. So can I say that both the beans are created? Can I say that both the beans are created? Answer is yes, both the beans are created. Okay. Now I'm going to make a minor change. The minor change that actually I'm going to do here is, everyone, let's say that this time I have added lazy init equal to true. When I have created lazy init equal to true, and thereafter if I'm running the same example again, how many times constructor is called? One time constructor is called. Okay. One time constructor is called, and let's say that if I am talking about getting the bean that is called demo 1, I am talking about the getting the bean that is called demo 1. If I'm talking about the bean that is called the demo 1 bean, so can I say that for the demo 1 bean, I have not used lazy in it. So can I say that this bean will be actually initialized using the eager initialization? Yes or no? This bean will be initialized using eager initialization. Answer is yes. But if I'm talking about the second bean that is demo 2, the bean demo 2 is actually not used in the program so far. So take a look at the output and please tell me, is demo 2 being created? Option number 1, or it is yet to create? Option number 2. That's great. That's great. The bean is yet to create it. The bean is yet to create it. So now actually I'm going to write down the next point. Into the next point, I'm writing here, let's say that getting the object of bean 2. getting the object of bean2. The name was demo2, I think. So getting the bean that is named, and the named is going to be, let's say, demo2. If I wanted to get demo2, so nothing special I am doing, just actually simple logic. I am writing bean equal to context dot get bean demo2 demo dot class. Now please observe the output. Please observe the output. So can I say, in case of lazy init, your bean will be initialized when actually it will be used for the first time? Yes or no? Your bean will be initialized when it will be used for the first time. So if so, by default, Spring Container always talk about the eager initialization, and having the eager initialization is definitely a good practice. Why it is a good practice? Because in case of eager initialization, if any dependency is missing, it will be spotted immediately. Your container will not start. But in case of lazy loading, let's say your application is running, you are using the lazy loading, and if the dependency is not available when required, then ultimately you may end up with the null pointer exception. So eager loading is a beneficial choice. But again, let's say that you are having so much dependencies. So initializing all the dependencies at the startup, it will create a lot of burden on the memory. So again, same situation, there is no perfect answer. If you are having very limited number of dependencies, then definitely it is better to go with the eager initialization. Why? Because if any dependency is missing, then you will get notification immediately before starting the container. But lazy loading is better when there are very less chance that you are going to use a dependency. And if the number of objects are too high, then definitely going for the lazy loading or the lazy initialization is a better choice. Is that clear, everyone? How to answer this question if somebody is asking which one is a better choice? So it is situation dependent. It is situation dependent. Same thing. So demo2 is available here. If you wanted to print the data of the demo2, then definitely you can print the data of the demo2 also. So output is available here. You can see that entire data is available into the application.xml. I can say that this bean will be actually created using the this bean will be created using using this will be actually, you can say that this bean will be eager initialized. This bean will be eagerly initialized, will be good to write down. But if I'm talking about the next bean, so the next bean will be lazily initialized, means actually this bean will be lazily initialized, i.e. it will be created when first time in use. This is what actually your lazy loading is. Okay, let me talk about the one more case also. So here I'm going to integrate one more thing here. The one more thing that I'm going to do here is, see, I'm writing here bean context dot get bean demo, and this is available. Let it be available. Bean2 is also available. So system dot out dot println, into the system dot out dot println. Let's say that I'm writing this one, and while writing this one, I'm writing again bean equal to context dot get bean, and so I'm writing here demo. Into the demo, let's say I'm calling it bean1. Let me do one job. I'm calling it bean1. I'm calling it bean2. Here also I'm calling it bean2. Thereafter, let me call it bean3. Okay. When I'm calling bean3, so simple, actually 2-line statements that are important for me. The statement I'm writing is that is bean1 equal to bean2. I'm writing bean1 equal to bean3. This is the one statement that I'm writing. And system dot out dot println, then I'm writing that is bean1 dot equals, and into the equals I'm writing here bean3. Here actually I'm writing bean3. Alt shift X J. Oh, some error is there in this code. It's demo. It's demo. So Alt shift X J. Please take a look at the last two lines of the output. Please take a look at last two lines of the output. Just actually remember one thing. This operator is called comparison operator. And if you remember J8111 object class, then actually possibly me or Faisal told you one thing. Whenever you are comparing two reference variable using the comparison operator or equality operator, then the equality operator actually check their memory locations. Means if the two different reference variables are pointing to same memory location, means same object, then comparison operator will return you true, false otherwise. Remember? Simply you can say for the two different reference variable, if the comparison operator is returning true, means they are pointing to one common object, means they are pointing to common memory location. According to this principle, can I say that bean1 and bean3, they are pointing to common object? Yes or no? According to this principle, can I say that bean1 and bean3, the reference variables are pointing to common object? Okay. And if they are pointing to common object, then definitely equals method will always return true for them. Yes or no? In such conditions, equals method will always return true for them. Answer is yes, it will actually return true for them. Now, actually, I'm talking about next part. And when I'm talking about the next part, see, this time. Let's say that I'm writing here that is demo, and into the demo, let's say that I'm talking about the bean 4. Into the bean 4, again, I'm talking about the bean 2. Same logic, I'm going to repeat again. And when I'm repeating the same logic again, so we are writing bean 2 equal to bean 4. Here I'm writing this is going to be bean 2 dot equals, and again I'm writing the thing is going to be bean 4. Let's say that I'm just putting a system dot out dot println, a blank space is what I'm writing. Again, I'm executing this example. Again, please take a look at the last two lines of the output. When I'm talking about the last two lines of the output, then it is, I think, very simple to understand for you. That's no matter how many times we are fetching the bean, no matter how many times we are fetching the bean, it is not giving us different bean every time, but actually it is providing us the same bean every time. Make sense? Why exactly this is happening? Because into the bean configuration metadata, you can see one thing, that first bean I have created with the name demo1. So into your entire Spring container, only one bean will exist with the name demo1. No matter whether you are accessing the same bean for the 10 times, all the 10 times the same bean will be provided to you, or reference to the same bean will be provided to you. So can I say that container actually manage only one bean with a given name? Yes or no? Container is actually managing only one bean with the given name. So no matter whether you are accessing the same bean for the 10 time, for the 20 time, every time you are actually going to find out the same bean. And why this is happening? This is happening because every bean in the Spring container is having the scope singleton by default. Do you know what is the meaning of word singleton? Singleton means only one object. In context of Java programming, you can remember singleton means only one object. So this time, can I say one thing, that there exists only one object with a given name? Can I say one thing, that there exists only one name, one bean with the given name? And even if you try to access the same bean for the 10 times, so all the 10 times you are going to get the same bean again and again, different bean will not be provided to you. Different bean will not be provided to you. So definitely the answer is going to be true here. Again, the answer is going to be true here. Then talking about the next part. So sir, this is the one scope available. The scope is called the prototype scope. The one scope is available. That is actually called the singleton scope. Apart from the singleton scope, there is one more scope available that is called the prototype scope. So see, first point, bean scope. A scope actually indicates the lifespan of an object of a spring bean. A scope indicates the lifespan of an object of a spring bean. Actually, there are four types of scopes available. The first scope is referred as the singleton scope, and singleton scope is the default scope. Singleton scope is actually the default scope. Second type of scope is available, prototype scope. The next two scope, that is the request and the session. The request and the session scope, they are actually available in the simple Spring Web MVC. So initially, I am not discussing about the request scope and the session scope. Initially, I will discuss to you about the singleton and the prototype scope. So you can see that singleton scope. In case of singleton scope, it return the same bean class object for all the getBeans method called the same bean. Whenever we are pulling the object with the same ID multiple times, container will return the same object. Is that the same thing that I told you? Is that the same thing that I told you? Yes, it is. If the same bean class is configured with the different ID, then container create one more object for that beans. It means container actually make a Spring Bean object as a singleton with respect to the ID. This is also verified with the example. This is also verified with the example. Yes, it is. Now, if I'm talking about the next scope, then next scope is actually referred as the prototype scope. So let me do one simple job. This time, everyone, I'm going to application.xml. And after going to application.xml, I'm writing one more thing that is called the scope. And value for the scope, let's say that I am writing, this is going to be prototype. The scope that actually I am writing is going to be prototype. So if I'm talking about the prototype, then in case of the prototype, one simple thing that actually I'm going to show you this time. When the bean scope is prototype, when the bean scope is prototype, then situation will be entirely different. How it is going to be different? Let me press Alt Shift XJ. And when I'm pressing Alt Shift XJ, so this time, please tell me, can you see the output? Inside constructor is actually written again, which was missing in the previous example. It was missing in the previous example. So this time what is happening, every time actually you are requesting the bean with the name demo2, the Spring container is creating a new bean every time for you. Is that okay? The Spring bean is creating a new bean every time for you. So this time, can I say one thing, that if I'm talking about the bean2, so bean2 is pointing to an object. And if I'm talking about bean4, then the bean4 is actually pointing to a different object, such that both are actually having same content. But because the memory locations are different, that's why the comparison operator is actually giving us the result that is false. Yes or no? And definitely, if the comparison operator is returning false, then definitely your equals method is going to return false, because by default, the equals method uses comparison operator to check the things. Is that clear, everyone? What is the mean of prototype scope is? So in case of the prototype scope, always you should keep one thing into your mind. The thing that you have to keep into your mind is you are requesting the same bean for the 10 time. Every time you are going to get a different object in case of prototype scope. But in case of the singleton scope, if you are fetching the same bean for the same 10 times, all the 10 times you are going to get a single object, or the same object every time you will get. Is that okay? Yes or no? Okay, it is. That's good. So this is the difference between the singleton and the prototype scope. So prototype scope, you can see, return a separate bean class object for every getBean method call, even with the same ID. In order to tell the container to put a bean object in a prototype scope, we need to mention by using scope attribute within the bean tag. So it return a separate bean class object for every getBean method, even with the same ID also. So let me write down in my own language. Let me write down in my own language. So the point that actually I'm going to write down is that for prototype scope, for prototype scope, every time we will actually get a new bean object. Every time we will get a new bean object when getBean method will be called. This part is done. Here we are going to write down one thing. The thing that we are going to write down here is that this bean is of singleton scope. This bean is of singleton scope. So in a single example, what is the mean of eager and lazy initialization? This is done. What is the mean of bean scope? This is something also we have done. The next point is available, that is called the bean life cycle. So bean life cycle we will complete today, and then Spring Annotation approach we will do tomorrow. Spring Annotation approach we will do tomorrow. So okay, everyone. So how to inject the collection object? What is the mean of prototype scope? What is the mean of singleton scope? What is the mean of eager initialization? And what is the mean of lazy initialization? Is that point okay? Yes, it is. That's nice. That's nice. That's nice. Now I'm talking about the next example. Into the next example, I'm going to discuss with you about the bean life cycle. So before talking about the bean life cycle, you all are requested to take the screenshot of this image, please. And you have, once you have taken the screenshot, then type 1 on the chat. Okay, that's good. That's good. That's good. Those who have taken the screenshot, that's good, everyone. And if I'm talking about actually the components that are useful for us, so green color instantiation. Instantiation is all about creating the object. Yes or no? Instantiation means creating the object. So can I say that constructor will be called here? Can I say that constructor will be called here? After calling the constructor, it is talking about populating the properties. So when I'm talking about populating the properties, so can I say that setter method will be called here? Yes, it is. After the setter method is called, then actually you can forget about the three boxes. That is bean name aware, bean factory aware, and application context aware. Forget about them. They are out of your scope. Then there is one thing available that is called the pre-initialization. What is the mean of pre-initialization? I will take the example tomorrow. Then one more thing is available that is called the after properties set. I am going to take the example today. And one more thing is available that is called custom init. That is called custom init. So see, example I'm going to write down for you. Just actually give me a moment. So closing, closing, closing. And then actually I'm talking about this one. I'm talking about this one. I'm talking about this one. Then copy and paste. After talking about the copy and paste B21 SB101 example number 11 into the example number 11. Then I'm writing, let's say that life cycle is what actually I am discussing with you. So for the life cycle, everyone, just actually one very simple example I am going to create for you. So there is one class available. The name of the class is called class A. Into the class A, let's say that inside constructor, or I can just actually put a simple remark. The simple remark I can put is that is going to be inside default constructor. Thereafter, I'm talking about one more property. The property that actually I'm going to write down is going to be, let's say, private integer I. For the private integer I am talking about the setter and getter method. So first, I'm going to generate the getter setter method here. So I'm selecting this, generating the getter setter method. Getter setter method is generated here. Mainly, I'm actually interested in the setter method, not into the getter method. Mainly, I'm interested into the getter method, not into setter method, not into the getter method. So I'm writing here system.out.println, and into the system.out.println, I'm writing here, this is going to be inside setter method. We are writing one thing that is called inside setter method. Okay. Public void fun, initially leave it. This is not something that I need. And thereafter, I'm going to app.java. Into the app.java, again, I'm having application context. Let me add the dependencies. Refreshing the project, application context is available. After having the application context, definitely we will get the message container started. After getting the container started message, then we are talking about getting the object. And after getting the object, simply we are putting bye-bye. So let me initially run this example. I have to open the configuration metadata also. So opening the configuration metadata, into the configuration metadata, simple. Bean ID equal to A. The name of the class that actually, oh, package name is supposed to be changed. So I'm writing example 11, and here I am writing this is going to be life cycle. This is going to be life cycle. Copy, paste, let it be continue. And yeah, is that updated here? Yes. Is that updated in the app.java? Definitely yes. Then going to application context, into the application context. So I am going to provide the fully qualified name here. And when I'm providing the fully qualified name here, thereafter I'm talking about the bean tag. After talking about the bean tag, then one simple thing I'm doing here. I'm writing here property. Into the property, I'm talking about name. Name, let's say that I'm writing I. Thereafter, I'm using the value tag. Let's say that the value I'm providing is going to be 10. Simple. Let me run this example. And when I'm running this example, then it is actually very easy to verify that initially the constructor is called. And after calling the constructor, then one more method is called, that is called the setter method. I don't think there is anything special in this. Everybody comfortable? Yes or no? Everybody comfortable? Yes or no? Definitely, definitely, definitely. So now when everyone is comfortable, now let me do some more jobs. So see here, actually one special things that actually I am doing. This class is implementing an interface, and the name of the interface that actually I am writing is initializing bean. The name of the interface that I'm writing is initializing bean interface. If I'm talking about the initializing bean interface, then how many methods are available here? How many methods are available in the initialize bean? Only one method is available. The name of the method is called after property set. The name of the method is called actually after property set. So I'm available into the a.java. When I'm available in a.java, so first actually I have to provide the definition of this method. So I have to use @override annotation. Whatever be the properties I'm not talking about, simple I am writing the message. The message is going to be that is inside after properties set. Inside after properties set. Just actually I have provided the definition. I have not performed calling manually. Again executing this code. When I am again executing this code, then can you see the execution? First of all, constructor is called. After calling of the constructor, then setter method is called. And after calling the setter method, after property set method is called automatically. Yes or no? So can I say that after the bean creation and populating the property, if I have to perform some startup action, then that startup action I can write down into the after property set method? Yes or no? Can I write down the same thing? Yes, it is. And similarly, everyone, if at the time of destruction, if you wanted to perform some operation, then you can perform that operation also. And for this thing, there is one more interface available. The name of the interface is actually referred as the disposable bean interface. If I'm talking about the disposable bean interface, then into the disposable bean interface, please check how many methods are there. Only one method is available. So let me do one simple job. And when I'm talking about that simple job, so again coming to class that is a.java. Into the class a.java, again I'm using @override annotation. And when I'm talking about the @override annotation, thereafter we are talking about the public. And after talking about the public, then we are writing that is system.out.println. And here I'm writing that is inside destroy. Here I'm writing inside destroy. Shall I run this example? Can you expect that at the last we will get the output that is inside destroy also? So coming to app.java, Alt Shift XJ, inside destroy is available. Can you able to find out the message inside destroy? No. Okay. Okay. I will talk about this inside destroy shortly. I will talk about inside destroy shortly. One more thing that actually I am having available. Let's say that into the class A, I'm creating one method. The name of the method I am writing is, let's say, public void initialize. There is no fixed name. This method you can create with any name. You can create actually this method with any name. There is no fixed thing that you should use initialize or etc. You can create with any name. And here actually I am writing one more thing. The thing that actually I am writing is here I am putting the message. The message is going to be that is inside initialize. The message that I'm writing is inside initialize. Let me run this example. When I'm running this example, anywhere can you find the message inside initialize? No. Now let me come to application.xml file and into the application file. Then there is one attribute available. The name of the attribute is called the init method. Into the init method, then I'm writing one thing that is called initialize. I'm writing one method that is called initialize. So the name of the method that I created, what was the name of the method? The name of the method is initialize. I'm going to application method and here I'm writing initialize. Coming to app.java again, pressing Alt Shift XJ. This time, can you see the message inside initialize? Yes, it is. Now actually again come back to the diagram. When I am again coming back to the diagram, then can you see that first of all during the instantiation constructor will be called first step verified. Second step, your setter method will be called verified. Yes, it is. Forget about the 4 blocks as of now. Forget about these 4 blocks as of now. Actually, then can you see that next time automatically there is initialize beans after property set method is called verified. Then actually whatever be the custom initialization method you have specified, that method will be called. Yes or no? Yes, it is. Then forget about the next block and now your bean is actually ready to use. So whatever actually operations you wanted to perform with this bean, that operation you can perform. And if I'm talking about the destruction part, in the destruction part, can you see that first of all, disposable beans destroy method will be called, and thereafter whatever be the custom destroy method is there, it will be called. But now you will say that, sir, how it will be called? We have not seen the output for the destroy method. So there is a small catch available. There is a small catch available. How many of you have gone through the notes that I provided you yesterday? Honestly, write one on chat. Okay, just actually immediately write down which one is the sub interface of application context. Hurry up, immediately write down which one is the sub interface of application context interface. Almost no reply. Almost no replies. Wrong replies. Listen, my question again. I am asking which one is the sub interface of application context. I am not asking which is the super interface of application context. The sub interface of application context is configurable application context. The sub interface is configurable application context. And if I'm talking about the configurable application context interface, then in the configurable application context interface, if you remember, there is one method available that is called register shutdown hook, and one more method is available that is called the close method. Remember, one method is available register shutdown hook method, and one more method is available that is called the close method. So this time, if I wanted to see the destruction of the object, or if I wanted to perform something, then instead of configuration, instead of application context, I need to use object of configurable application context. I need to use object of configurable application context. And when I'm writing the application context, then actually nothing special I am doing. Just a simple job I am doing. I just have to call the close method. I just have to call the close method. Now take a look at the output, Alt Shift XJ. And when I'm writing Alt Shift XJ, so this time, can you see that the destroy method is also called? Yes, it is. And everyone, see, actually, this class is implementing initialize bean interface. This class is implementing disposable bean interface. This class is, so if you are having your custom init method and if you are having after property set method, so it is simple to remember that after property set method will be called first. Yes or no? After property set method will be called first. Answer is yes. Similar to that, everyone, see, what is the sequence? First after property set, then init method. But when it comes to the restriction, then your order will be reverse. When it comes to the destruction, then your order will be reverse. Why your order will be reverse? Because first of all, the destroy method that you are overriding from the disposable bean, this method will be called. And thereafter, if you have defined any, and thereafter, if you have defined any custom shutdown method, then that custom shutdown method will be called. So for example, let's say this time I'm talking about the method such that the name of the method that I'm writing is, let's say that it is, I'm giving, let's say that the name of the method I'm writing is shutdown. When I'm writing the name of the method shutdown, so we are calling the method, the name of the method is going to be inside shutdown. And into the application config, then I am talking about one more attribute, and this attribute is going to be destroy method. Into the destroy method, I have to pass the name of the method, and the name of the method is going to be shutdown. Is that clear? The name of the method I am writing is shutdown. So shutdown is something I have told Alt Shift XJ I am pressing. So this time, can you see everyone that the order that I have told you here, it is completely justified. First, after properties will be called, then custom init will be called. Now your bean is actually ready to use your bean. When it comes to destruction of the bean, so for the destruction of the bean, first of all, the destroy method from the disposable bean will be called. Thereafter, custom destroy method will be called. From this diagram, will you be able to remember that hierarchy? From this diagram, will you be able to remember the life cycle method? This is important question, often asked in the examination. So first of all, constructor will be called, then setter method will be called. Then after property set method will be called, then custom init method will be called. Now your bean is ready to use. Thereafter, at the time of destruction, disposable beans destroy method will be called, then custom destroy method will be called. This is what actually referred as the bean life cycle. This is what actually referred as the bean life cycle. So can you see that does not exist means bean does not exist mean does not exist. Instantiation is there, initialization is there, service is there, destroy is there. In the documentation, this is written slightly into the brief, but this diagram I have already taken from the official documentation of the Spring Core. So this is actually, you can say that detailed diagram or the best diagram that is used to specify the Spring Bean life cycle. Is that clear, everyone? And I think that is sufficient for the day. All the examples will be shared to you shortly. You are requested to go to the LMS platform and please rate the class. And if you are finding that content is too much, please make sure to read the notes properly before coming to class.